Good morning. I'm Randy Barkley, and I'm here with Jeremiah Lee, and we're here to discuss with you some of the life's hard financial choices, and we want to help you make smart decisions about your money.
Randy and I are both certified financial planners, and I'm also a California licensed attorney. We work together at Tricord Advisors, where we help clients build the life they love.
I think it's interesting, Jeremiah. We pulled out an article that we pulled out. This was published back in January in the Wall Street Journal, and the title of the article: "This year could get crazy. Invest in your self-control." I always like to go back. I save articles from Barron's when they do the roundtable with various investment advisors. Also, these things that are published, were published, 6 months ago or 12 months ago, and I kind of want to see, okay, were they right? Were they wrong? How close were they at? And this one here, I mean, it goes back and reaffirms what we did in our firm. Yeah. Is we started to rebalance in January. Stock prices, bond prices, everything was priced to perfection, which means translated to me, that means that they're probably going to correct.
Yeah, I love that we have this article. I love that we look back at stuff like this. Because remembering back to January, Tesla was sailing. All these tech stocks were at some, every day or every week they were setting new highs. Bitcoin was.
Remember mortgage rates? What were mortgage rates then?
Yeah, they were rock bottom, right? I think it
was below 3%.
It was beautiful. It was a great moment. And this article coming out saying this year might be crazy. It's a moment for self-control. And I just loved some of the items that they talked about in here. At that moment, there was discussion that the Fed might have 3 adjustments during the year, and they were going to be a quarter point each. That was what people were, oh man, what's this going to be?
A quarter of a point.
A quarter of a point. When this week, we had a 3/4 of a point in one adjustment. We just had that. And that's the second one we've had. And so I think it's really healthy to look back to say, what was the concern? And the hard part is when people look back often, especially talking heads on the radio, they make it, or on the TV, it makes it sound like it was inevitable. Everyone should have seen this. Well, duh, of course we knew this was coming. But we didn't. Nobody did. We saw that it could happen. We made some adjustments because we were at these great high prices. But I don't think very many people expected 2022 to be a stellar year. However, it could have been. It could have gone through the roof.
Could have been.
And one of the things I thought was great in this article, it talked about, for the last 3 years leading up to 2022, if you added those together, a lot of portfolios doubled. You had 100% growth over those 3 years, adding them all together. But looking back, one of my favorites is saying, 1995, there was a 37% return on the market. 96, the next year, 23%. 97, 33%. So then that was probably it, right?
Right.
Well, then no, 98 came and you had another 28%, and then 99, 21%. This idea that if you had 2 or 3 really good years, that's it. It's cyclical. It's all coming back.
It's all going to come back and correct, right?
How many people after, say, 95, 96, 97 moved to cash and said, we've had great years. I'm just going to take my money off the table, and then miss some really stellar growth. Now, if you took your money off the table in 99, you probably look like a genius that you missed 2000 and some of the pain that came after it. And whether that pain became embedded is probably true. There's probably people who saw it coming, 98, 99, but the timing of that is so difficult that it's not a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and I think that we're looking back in 2022, and like in all years, there typically is something that happens that causes the market to correct. So in 2022, it was, you can name to Putin. Putin all of a sudden changed the way in which we saw our neighbor, so to speak. Europe surely was affected by that, and him invading Ukraine, but it seemed to be the stimulus, the catalyst that caused the market to become more introspective and started to see changes within their investment attitude.
Yeah.
And that happened pretty rapidly, actually.
Right. Well, the question for a lot of this, the wisdom we can gain by looking back is to say the market was just looking for something. It could have been anything. It could have been a hurricane, could have been a jobs report. I wouldn't blame this on Putin necessarily in the sense that he was this powerful to trigger all this, but I think the market was just on edge, looking for some reason to readjust. And there was a number of reasons, but that was a big one. But I think, what do we take from this? And I think this article laid it out well, is saying you need to have some self-control. You need to have some good habits that don't allow you to be reactionary in getting out of the market too soon or staying in when you don't need to. And some of those had a few good habits, but one of them I liked was limiting what you check. I don't know if you have a Robinhood account, Randy, but as it became popular, I opened one up.
I don't even have a crypto account. Are you kidding me?
Need all of it. But for because our clients are engaged in this, I try and be involved in all this to understand it. And Robinhood, one of the things that is so unique about it is when you buy a stock, they have little cheering things that go off, and hooray, you got it, hooray! But that little bit of feedback is so psychologically satisfying that people want to buy. I mean, that's not the only reason they're using it, but it's helpful. One of the comments that he said in this article was to limit checking your account. And even if you look at your charts, like set your phone or your computer on a grayscale. Like don't see all the fancy colors, the celebrations. Try and check it, say once a quarter, not every day, but at once a quarter, and make prudent things. And you're basically cutting through the noise. There's so much noise and psychological angst that's created in the market that some of these apps or other things, you don't need more angst or more cheerleading or more endorphins to make a bad choice. What we need is to cut through that noise. And I thought it was a really great discipline is to, don't be glued to your phone or your account, but try and check it once a quarter.
Yeah, again, I read a lot, and so even in the morning when I turn on the television and look at the CNBC or Fox or whatever, I typically shut the volume off. What I'm
Mhm.
looking for is stats and numbers and statistics, and the information that I get from reading is really the thing that reinforces where I want to go and what I want to do. And again, what happened in the first part of this year was that we needed to do some profit taking, and we did it. We didn't know what the rest of the year was going to turn out to be, but it's always good to take some profit when
Yeah.
it's available to you, right?
Yeah, that's great. And part of that, I love that habit of just turning down the volume, turning down the angst from
Yeah.
someone's voice. That's really good. So if anyone listening wants to hear our full discussion on this, you can find it on our website. It's retirementunlimited.com or on YouTube platforms. We also have our show there. If there's any topics you'd like to hear in the future, feel free to leave it in the comments or leave it on our website, and we'll discuss that in the future.